Good morning, boys and girls. This is Mr. Keris, and today I'm going to show you how to draw a 5-step hand. And this 5-step hand will help you to solve a problem. If you're having a problem at school, at home, in the playground, at the park, you can consider these 5 steps. You can use your hand as a reminder about what you could do to problem solve. Now, every problem has a different solution, and I'm going to give you 5 solutions you can consider if they will suit your problem. So 1, you can ask that person to please stop. Using your manners, using a polite tone, but also having clear boundaries and saying to that person, please stop it. I don't like what you're doing. Can you leave me alone? If that doesn't work, maybe it's time to use a firmer voice. It's appropriate to use a firm voice if your manners haven't worked. Please stop now. I have asked you to stop. Leave me alone. If you do not leave me alone, I'm going to walk away. So you can consider using all of the steps sometimes. Sometimes it's appropriate to ignore the problem, not always. If someone is hurting you or continuously annoying you, it is not time to ignore it. It's time to consider some other steps. But sometimes if it's a small thing that's happening once or twice, you can ignore it. If it's a young child and they're being a little bit annoying, ignore them. Use a polite voice. Walk away. You can use any of these strategies. That leads us to the next one. Walk away from a problem if you can. If it's safe to do so, walk away, be the bigger person, and leave that person alone. Don't give them the attention that they're after. Another step you can consider, speaking to an adult, a teacher. Once you have tried as many steps as you feel is necessary, speak to the teacher about what you did to solve the problem. That teacher may help you to solve it further. If these steps are not working, an adult will help you to solve it further. So now that we've covered these 5 steps, let's talk about how we make this picture. So what we're going to do is get our hand and a sharp lead pencil and trace around our hand. Now, when we trace around our hand, we want to turn the pencil towards our hand. We don't want to turn the pencil away because we'll make our hand too big and we'll make our fingers look out of proportion. So I'm tracing my fingers and I'm pressing the pencil close to my fingers, even turning it in slightly. The reason why I'm using a lead pencil is because if I make an error, it is easy to rub it out. So it's certainly not perfect, and that's when I can go around and sketch where I want it to be. And that's a really good opportunity for you also to consider that it's easy to make a mistake when you are drawing. And it's important to always start with the lead pencil, and it's important to understand that even adults make mistakes when they're drawing. I didn't get my rubber ready, so I'll just use this one on the end of a pencil, and you can just rub out those light pencil marks that you began with. Doesn't matter too much because we're going to colour over it anyway. And so here we go, we've got our hand outline, which is fine for now. It's much easier to do this than to just have a photocopy that your teacher gave you. It's good to practice skills like tracing around, using your hand as a stencil. So the other thing we're going to do is draw around that line that we began with. And we are going to colour those in a bit later. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like I always say, it's just about having a go, about having fun. This would be nice to include into your art books. It's a good poster to have on display in the classroom. It's a good one to have in your bedroom as well, to remind you about what you can do if you're having a problem. Have you tried these steps? Sometimes when we're upset, it's very hard to think about what strategies we need to use. We sometimes go into fight or flight mode, which means we're not thinking very clearly and we're reacting to the situation. We're not breathing, we're not calming down, we're not making good choices. So that sometimes where walking away is a good idea because that gives you a chance to consider what you could do differently. If you're upset or angry and you make decisions in that moment, Sometimes you'll raise your voice, you might do something you'll regret later, and something you'll probably be quite sorry about. So sometimes giving yourself space to breathe and walk away from the problem is a really good idea. So now that I've traced all around, these could be coloured in any colour format you like. Now, I haven't quite done rainbow order at all, but I just chose those colours, and I've done lots of patterns in these rings around the hand. So there's all sorts of patterns you could do. You could just do something basic like these C shapes, the letter C, and you could colour them in with texta, pencil, crayon, pastel, watercolour paint, paint pens, whatever, gel pens, whatever you have. So you could do C's, you could do circles of all different sizes. Like this. You could do waves, and of course they should go all the way around the hand. I'm just being nice and quick because I want to show you the steps and then let you be creative, and you can make your hand with steps to solving a problem however suits you. There's so many that you could do. You could do spirals. And you could do some other waves. So I'll show you these waves. These are always popular with students. They always like these. And when you do this part, you just sort of follow it all the way around. Another one could be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3. Like so, all the way around, a bit of a Japanese design. You could do flowers. Whatever makes you happy. And then you can consider how you want to write your 5 steps. So stop, please. Always moving your paper so you don't have to move as much. Firm, voice, ignore, walk away, teacher. Once you've drawn out your writing, your hand, your patterns, then you could explore how you wanted to colour. Consider what will blend nicely together and what will smudge each other. So for myself, if I wanted to do oil pastel over lead pencil, that will smudge. If I wanted to do watercolour texta, you know, just your normal connector pen textures, if I did a texta, and then I wanted to do watercolor paint, that will melt. So consider what it is you want to use that won't smudge each other. Some good tips are you can put oil pastels over crayons. They complement each other. You can put oil pastel over pencil. You can use texta and oil pastel. You can use watercolor paint and Sharpie. So consider what you have, what you're allowed to use, what you're allowed to share. And remember your 5 steps this week and moving forward, and try and resolve problems peacefully in the playground, at home. And remember, guys, it's always helpful to give yourself a bit of breathing space. You don't have to solve the problem right away. You and your friends can see if you're getting upset. Go choose a peaceful place to sit, breathe, talk it out, express how you're feeling, and think about what steps you want to try next time you're having that problem. I hope you have a wonderful, safe, happy week. Goodbye.